Hey, what's going on guys, Oink here, and today, update 1.06 came out for Gran Turismo 6, and in this video we're going to be going over all of the changes that are brought in this patch. So when you get into the game after downloading it, you'll be shown this screen which briefly explains the main parts of the update, so you can take a read there if you happen to skip past that, or if you want some slightly more in-depth details. Go to the notifications section on the left hand side, updates, and then you can find update 1.06. So, Datalogger now available, GPS visualizer function introduced, custom rear wing option implemented, 3D TV compatibility now added, adjustments to the open lobby, and other improvements including traction control and slipstream strength. So let's start off with a simple one, 3D compatibility. Hit start, go to options, display, and then 3D TV. If you have a 3D TV or whatever, you can get that set up in there. Apparently it's looking quite nice. Secondly, GPS. So we've got some new things in the tools area, all the way over to the right hand side where photo travel is. You'll find a green button, GPS visualizer, and you need to plug in a USB stick which has your GPS data. If you have, the special car, this is what we talked about before, if you have the special car or whatever, that you can go to a track and do that. Next, let's look at the Datalogger. This is a pretty key feature. This was in GT5 and, it wasn't available already. You load in a best lap data, so it has to be an offline time trial best lap replay data. And it basically just presents you with a load of information. So you get your driving line through the track, the G-force visualizer, whole bunch of different statistics, so you can pause, rewind, you don't have to play, you can just go back and forward across the line, you can zoom in, zoom out, you can zoom in and out on the track itself to really zoom in on the driving line. You can really finally have a look at what your exact speed was, accelerator input, brake input, what gear you're in. That's on the preset. Then if you go to like set 1 and 2, you can add a whole bunch of other stuff. We're going to that. What's really cool is you can load in 2 replays at once, so you could compare 2 of your own laps. What I've done here is I've compared my lap to one of Twissy's laps. So I have one of Twissy's replays, same track. I guess it has to be the same track. To be honest, yeah, it actually only shows you the ones from the same track, and I don't know if it's the same car as well, but this happens to be the same car, same track. So the pink line is my data, and the grey line behind it is all of Twissy's data. Really helpful if you're into time trialing, if you're really looking to replicate someone else's, trying to figure out how someone else takes it. If someone's going faster in one section or slower in the other, you can really see what it is that they're doing in that different area differently to you. So if you go to set 1, this is where you can really customize your visualized data. So there's loads of stuff. You've got speed, RPM, current gear, accelerator, brake, time difference, G-forces, steering angle. You've even got stuff like individual wheel speeds and individual ride height, so you can check the suspension level on each wheel. For example, I've got here wheel speed on the front left and wheel speed on the front right, as well as longitudinal G-force. You can check that at any specific point and compare it with another lap data. You can get the engine sounds from one or the other, or if you want, you can overlay them at the same time. You can change the colors, stuff like that. This is also cool. Actual position, that means that the 2 are played as if it were the lap. So for example, if Twissy is going faster than me, you'll see him going ahead of me on the visualizer. If I change it to match to current, that'll actually play them so that at the exact point on the track, they'll be the same. So like you can see, like, this is on the previously it was on match to current, so Twissy's lap is overlaid exactly on top of mine. This is almost like a real-time version, so you can see the grey line actually ends up ahead of me, because obviously Twissy was faster than me on this particular lap, or he's always faster than me, whatever. So that's the Datalogger. Pretty cool feature if you're into time trialing and really nailing those last few tenths. This is a cool feature. They've added a whole bunch of rear aero customization. So before we just had these generic wings and whatever that you can do, but now you can really customize and get it to look exactly how you want. So you've got 3 different things. You've got wing stay, wing, and winglet. So the wing stays are like the base component that, like, you know, the kind of like the rods, I guess, that hold the wing up. So you've got a selection of 6 or 7 of those, or something, you know, 5 or 6, I don't know, a choice of those. Then on top of that, you can choose either large or small wings. If you choose the large wings, you can only take large winglets. Equally, if you take small wing, you can only take small winglets, but you can basically mix and match any small wing with any small winglet, so you can get it to look exactly how you want. And then after that, you can change the height of it, so that changes the length of the wing stays. You can get it to go up or down. Additionally, you can change the actual width of the wing itself. From what I know, doing this doesn't actually change the aero of the car. I think this is just visual, so I don't think it actually changes performance, any of that stuff. There's a couple new lobby settings. First of all is like the race type, so you've got a whole bunch of new stuff. Driving for pleasure, let's share tips and information. So this is just something that pops up when you're browsing for a room, so you can kind of see what the room's about. And cafe, I don't know what cafe is on a racetrack, but whatever. The real slipstream strength has been weakened, so this has been in there since like the 2nd patch or something, or the 1st patch. Still in there, but apparently the actual slipstream strength in the race is slightly weaker than it was before. And finally, the maximum power and maximum kilograms can now be changed 1 at a time. So before it would change it in, well, for kilograms it changed in increments of 10. For power it was somewhere around 9 and 10. I think it was like, it was just basically random, like it just added random weird increments, but it was around 10 increments. Now you can just set it precisely how you want. There's still a minimum of like 98 or something, but you can get it real nailed down to exactly what you want it in there. In the member list, it now shows the performance points, power, and weight, so that you can scroll across the page and see that as an additional thing, which is quite handy, especially if you're organizing a race and you're making sure everyone's at the correct specs, if, you know, there's different kind of cars or something. Another thing, when you're actually in a practice mode or some kind of thing where there's like a scoring system or a time, it shows the overall lobby leader's best lap in the bottom right, which you saw there in the pink. That shows the overall, and the one in the top right is your own. And finally, they've made some adjustments to the way that traction control is when you're off track. So there was a whole bunch of changes to the off track where they added like this really horrible traction control. They updated it in the last patch so it's a bit better, and they've changed it again, so now there's no traction control at all when you're off track, except for gravel, I think, is the only one. So you can see there, when I go over the grass, it's off. When I go over the off-track concrete, it's off. But when I go over the gravel, there is still traction control. So still made improvements there. Maybe 1 or 2 just to finish up. But that's pretty much everything in the patch. Hope you guys found this video useful, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.